Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. And today I get to hang out with my buddy, Colleen Pestana, who is an owner, editor, and publisher, or the owner, editor, and publisher of Professional Business Publications. Welcome to the show, Colleen.
Thanks, Johnny. It's great to be here.
Man, I've probably known you a decade. Isn't that crazy?
It's more than a decade. Yeah, 2012.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy how the time flies.
it
Um,
is.
Yeah. So what I've noticed about you is you're very entrepreneurial. I want people to get to know you a little bit and get to know your company. Let's talk a little bit about professional business publications and how that endeavor works.
Sure. So we are, I guess you'd consider us a somewhat of a data company, data and media company. Our two flagships are our National Builders Directory, our Directory of Multifamily Builders and Developers. So by that, you can tell we serve the home building apartment industry. That's the niche that we cover. Um, our directories are contact data um, directories, and our subscribers or members are folks who are working in that industry. So our focus is to help them build their business, develop their business, make contacts, stay in contact, and stay up to date on what's going on in their industry. We're supplemental to, a lot of other sources that they have for their marketing efforts, their news. The National Association of Home Builders, it's
Yep.
huge,
Yep.
provides a lot of news, but so we're supplemental to all of that. Um, our directories are subscription based. And then we also publish a newsletter, the Building Connection newsletter, covering what's going on in the industry, new developments, mergers, acquisitions, anything to do with home builders or apartment developers, the trends going on, growth in active adult communities, growth in the build to rent communities, anything like that. What's happening with interest rates, how that affects the builders. As well as regulations, all of that.
Yeah. That's your niche. Like these people. You've been covering this niche for an extremely long time. And so people are when they're paying you, when they're buying these directories, they're paying you for the fact that you know the ecosystem, right? You've been charting the ecosystem of contacts, who works where, what the titles are, all that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's they're buying our expertise, and they're buying, being confident that when they are subscribing to our service, they're getting up to date information.
Yeah. And
People will look at us and say, "Oh, you're a list company. I've bought lists before." No, we're not a list company. We're working at it every day
right, you're a niche
on a
B2B
small
publisher.
niche,
Yep.
in a
Yep.
small niche.
You're
Yeah.
owning that niche. You're trusted within that niche. Your revenue model is subscription based. Is there no advertising or some advertising?
There's no advertising.
Okay.
No advertising. And we're subscription based, but then more and more we are doing custom research
Yeah.
for our clientele,
Yeah.
or special reports that they're purchasing, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Okay. So that's been and how recently has that been growing? Um,
More so in the last year, in the last
okay.
2 years,
Yeah.
but more so in the last year, where
Okay.
folks have reached out and say, "Hey, you do this. Can you put together this for us?" And we have the team in place, and it depends on what they're looking for, how detailed they want to get, how many data points they want to capture, whether or not we can deliver what they want. But usually we can.
So that's a premium product. That's a higher ticket premium product that people
Yeah.
can purchase custom if they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. See, that's good to know because there are so many different ways to generate revenue, and one of the channels for the traditional or new media company is data, and that is primarily where your revenue comes from as an organization is the subscription revenue, and then the custom data, which is still data revenue.
It is. It is. And it's, it's one of those things where you say, why didn't we do this years ago?
Yeah.
And, we did some of it, but why didn't we really pursue it?
Yeah. Well, that's part of the entrepreneurial nature is you're reading the market, right?
Mhm.
You're listening for what people want.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do get a sense, a couple phone calls, a couple inquiries, and you can know you're onto something after doing this so long. At least that's how it seems to work for me. I can, um, you know, a busy week of, people calling, subscribers calling, inquiries about, can you do this? Tells you there's something going on in the market.
Yeah. Yeah. So now let's go into how you develop that ability to know the market well enough and to be in a position where those requests come to you. Can you tell us a little bit about your media origin story? How you came into media.
Sure. So I started out as a newspaper reporter out of college, worked for a local newspaper in New Jersey, Asbury Park. Yay, Springsteen.
He's got a movie coming out. There's a movie coming out about Bruce Springsteen, and it looks like
Yeah, it's
very well
out.
done.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have to see that. It's out already.
Oh, it's out. Okay, cool.
It is out. Yes, I Deliver Me from Nowhere, I think it's called. So
Yeah.
it's one of his origin story. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it should be pretty good.
I was like,
Um,
I was like, oh, I need to see that. I didn't know all this. I was even from the preview. I was like, oh, that's a deeper story than I thought. That's cool.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I won't stop
Um,
derailing you.
uh, anyway, so that's where I started covering. Initially, actually first job there was night shift writing obituaries. Then to a sports writer on the sports desk covering local um, high school sports. And after about 2 years doing that, I went over to the news department and worked in, covering local government news. Um, a few years after that, I took a position in Northern California for a newsletter company. Moved across the country. I was a reporter covering insurance. They covered insurance and real estate, the publications. And I was covering insurance, eventually became the editor of the insurance department. Years later, became the managing editor over the entire editorial operation there. They did newsletters as well as meetings. And I was there up until 2001. We had a magazine as well by then covering golf, real estate. In 2001, some internal changes in that company, a family owned company, led me to say, you know what, I think I want to move on. And that's when I started my own business.
Okay, so since 2001, then you've been doing professional business publications.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. So it worked, right?
It did a few things, tried a few things that didn't work along the way. In the beginning, a newsletter covering fitness industry and, develop kind of real estate, who's building fitness centers, hotels, and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
But settled in on the home builders and the apartment guys, and that took off.
When was the moment when you knew? Because I know I run a business, so I know how hard it is sometimes to find your way to the place where it's like your niche that was made for you. Do you remember when you realized that this was the place that you needed to land?
This in terms of being in media, or this as in professional business publications?
This is
Because there's,
in the multifamily and the home builders as opposed to like the fitness, whatever, or the hotel.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like niching down
So,
that far. How did you know?
it's kind of funny. A call from my CPA saying, "You're making money. We need to do something about this." It's like, yeah, she was the one who helped me, incorporate the company.
Yeah,
She was my accountant. It's like, I want to start a business. She's like, oh, it should be an S corp. So she, basically incorporated the company for me, and then I send her, our finances, and she was like, you're making money. We need to do something. So it's like, okay, okay. She's like, this is fast.
yeah,
So
yeah. So you follow, to some degree, you followed the money. I mean, the money was starting to come in.
Yeah, yeah, that's what said, all right, this can work. This is going to work.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
best clue you can get, right? People start to
right.
take out the credit card and pay you.
Yeah. Um, when I really knew what we were doing was working would be when we were at conferences. I'd go to conferences and have a little booth and have our directories they were books. It was
Yeah.
just a book and a CD-ROM,
Yep.
right? Back then it was all before anything online. And I would have these folks in the industry come up, and they might be, with a company that sells to home builders. Pick up our book and start looking through it, and they'd, start looking, and they'd kind of test us. Okay, I'm going to go to, turn the page, go to this company, look for so and so. He's there. She's there. Oh,
Yeah.
he's only been there, a month. So,
Yeah.
like, that's where this is good stuff. This is accurate data. This is up to date.
Yeah.
They saw the value. They were surprised.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's fun when that happens. It's just really, yeah, of course it is. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool. And I understand that because, there's do you have authority? Do you have accuracy? People are testing for that. And then once you pass that test, now you're a different kind of a product than like your Info USA or whatever, right? Like whatever the national
Exactly.
databases are out there.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also the news angle. I wonder how much the news angle contributed to your success, because it seems like you're in the industry, right? So you're in the industry behind the scenes, understanding things. Like how else do you uncover that somebody knew there's a position change and you find it before a month is up, right? Like you've got to be out
Right.
there looking for the stories, right? Is that true?
True. Absolutely. You have to, it goes back to sources, right? As a media person, newspaper person, you have to have good sources, and you have to know where to go to get the who, what, where, when, why, or the data, in this case. So definitely that training and knowing where to go to get the information, having good sources, which, developing sources that each of the companies were covering and having relationship with those sources, and
Yep.
then having our researchers continue having that relationship.
Yeah.
It's invaluable. It's an absolute necessity.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to draw the thread to find the thread between when you first came into media and you're writing obituaries, and then you get moved into sports, and then you're in a newsletter media organization, and then you're an editor, and then you're the managing editor. So what is it that people were promoting, right? Like what did they see in you? What was the gift that they saw in you that caused them to give you more responsibility? What would you say? I mean, what would they say if I was interviewing them about Colleen?
Yeah. I think they would say that I like developed an understanding of what I was supposed to be covering, and what who our audience was, and what information was needed, and you knew how to go and find that information.
Got it. Yep. And is that why professional business publications worked and continues to work?
It is those same reasons. Yes. Yeah. It's, if you, again, there's skills that you develop, you go to school, you train, you learn, and you develop those skills, but then you really develop them, on the job. And, probably early on, a really good editor made a world of a difference in my life, just like, being tough and, kind of critical.
Yeah. High standard,
Which
right?
could be tough.
Holding you to a high standard. Yeah.
Yeah, which was not fun to face. But when the first time I got a compliment from that editor, it's like, wow.
Yeah. As a, so you
So
so was that kind of a mentor, would you say, or more just in this particular space of content perfection?
y- yeah, I wouldn't say so much a mentor, but someone who, that made you really take it seriously,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
um, was very serious about what, in this case, his job was. So he wanted everyone to take it seriously.
yeah. So you have this gift, you have this ability, you've had it your entire career, which is the ability to understand, you know, a context that you're in, whether it's obituaries or sports or real estate. You're understanding it, and then understanding the audience, and then understanding what information the audience needs to be empowered, right? Like, what are they looking for? What do they need? What are they attracted to, right?
Hmm.
And then ultimately to the place of what are they willing to pay for, right? What's the audience willing to pay for? Um, and you've built that. You've built that in this niche. Now, how do you take that what you learned and cause it to trickle down into the organization? Does that make sense? Like, it's you, Colleen, but then your organization is also functioning as you. So how do you take that nuance of what you know and somehow get that into the whole institution?
Right. So we are, my employees are all freelance employees,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So to
Yep.
get them um, to do the job that I need them to do, you kind of have to learn to spot the talent,
Yeah.
give them the freedom they need to really like impress you, if you will, or
Yeah.
to do their job,
Yeah.
um, and then show appreciation. And it's
Yeah.
not just financial appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I have um, a data entry person who is so incredible. She's developed, SOPs just and come back to me. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? Why
Yep.
didn't I do this?
Yep.
And so let her just go with it, run with it, but
Yes.
then show appreciation for it. Give her a bonus, give and just talk to her and explain. You know, um, you're a really talented person. Let her know. Kind of give that pat on the back that the
Yep.
editor finally gave to me that
Yep.
time.
Yep. Value the gift.
It is that because we all want to be valued. We all want to be, we're working because we need to make money, we need to survive, feed families, et cetera, et cetera. But you want what you're doing to be rewarding more than financially.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's, I mean, yeah, people are less and less putting up with environments where they're not appreciated, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to appreciate your people. That's good. So I love that. Spot the talent. That, even that terminology, right? Like, you're looking at your own team, you're spotting the talent, you're trying to give them the freedom to learn and to fail and to grow, um, in accordance with the talent that you already spotted, which is just what a good leader does. Um, so so now let's talk a little bit about media outlook. So niche. You're in the realm of niche B2B, with
Hmm.
a but your revenue stream isn't really from traditional advertising. It's from subscription and from data. But you're using your news savvy. I think that's maybe one thing to note for those who are watching is that there's a high level of news savvy and journalistic excellence that has been leveraged to create valuable data. And I don't think most people think that way. They think in terms of journalism, the end product of journalism is news and content, right? They don't generally think the end product of good journalism could be accurate data.
Absolutely.
So that's interesting. It's something to note, something to think about. Now, from where you're sitting, uh, um, where are you seeing that? Where are you seeing media going? What are you observing about media and where it's going, and how do you think it's going to need to change in order to thrive in the future?
So, obviously where it's going, it's being influenced heavily now by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And AI is a valuable tool and we're actually starting to use some AI in some cases,
Yep.
not for gathering data or, for the media side, more so for maybe the marketing side
Yeah.
of things.
Yep.
So where is it heading? I think, it's just becoming more and more technological. I think that's kind of sad because it is taking the human, it's taking the human touch out of it, the human interaction. Um, as we've talked B2B, there's a lot, I think there's a lot more opportunity in the B2B side of media, not so much on the consumer side, media covering the general public. That's where I think we could use some help or some talented people getting into that and working in that niche. So the fear is that the human connection and the human interaction is going to be taken out of it. And that's not just from gathering the data or gathering the news, but also, working with, the research team, working with the data entry team, working with the salesperson. Um, there are things that happen there that I can't see that technologies can recreate.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
If it can, it's not going to be real.
Yeah.
There's you need this genuine back and forth, person to person connection.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Yeah, the authenticity, even the nuance, like even what you've described, right? Like part of why you've been able to build a product was because of relationships that you built, right? Like knowing
Correct.
who the people are and building relationships and building trust and all those kinds of things, which that's what humans do, right? Those,
Right.
yeah, yeah. But then there's these other things that can and will be automated, um, and the question is going to be where to draw the line, between those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when I first went from newspaper to newsletters, and I moved from New Jersey to California.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was, calling and interviewing someone for an insurance article, and she recognized my name. She goes, "Did you used to work for a newspaper in New Jersey?" I'm like, "I did." And she remember, she's like, "I really enjoyed your writing." And, so, I mean, it was amazing to me. Here I am on the other side of the country working in completely different niche, and someone like, but, all right, that's, one of those once in a lifetime type of things,
Yep.
connections
Yep.
that, with that, she spoke to me,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she was willing to talk to me for that news article. So,
Yep.
that's a perfect example of a connection that you make with people and human interaction and relationship building and talk,
Yep. What makes you hopeful for the future of and I won't even say let's not even say media at large. Let's even just say niche B2B media or more kind of the media that you're in. What makes you hopeful about being in that space?
I meet a lot of passionate people who are in similar roles. They're not really competitors, but if I go to, conferences, there are other companies that provide similar but different services that
Yeah.
would be considered media.
Yeah.
Lead generation for companies, they all have some sort of, news letter or
Yeah.
news outlet.
Yeah.
And they're all really excited and passionate, truly passionate about what they're doing. And that makes you hopeful because, they're not just pursuing it as a job. You talk, I mean, it's nerdy because you're talking about home builders and the industry and what's happened. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be more nerdy, it could be something else, but it is, it's like you're having these conversations, and discussing what's going on in a market or an industry and the people, et cetera, et cetera. And, you're really paying attention and others are really paying attention. So, and it's, developing tools and resources that people can use. And when someone calls you and they were referred to you by another subscriber or someone who you did some work for, and they said, so and so referred me, you did this for them. It's like, okay, well, that's a rush, if you
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
because that's why you're doing it. For sure you want to make money, but it's like, oh, someone was happy with the work you produced.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to be said for longevity, being in a niche for long enough that the niche knows you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your niche knows you. Um, and that seems by itself to lead to opportunities. If you if you stay in a niche long enough and you serve that niche long enough, you're going to learn more and more how to serve it better, and you're going to become more recognized within that niche. And so it sounds like even that's happening for you. You've been in the niche, you've served the niche with the multifamily directories, builder directories, the home building directories, and you've put in the 10,000 hours, right, of
Mm-hmm.
asking, hey, yeah, it's me again. Any personnel changes? What's going on over here?
Right.
Um, and then all of a sudden now you're being invited to provide, higher ticket custom research. And you can do that, but it's only because you were there for decades, right? Like you were there for a long time.
Correct.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No one would have come to me 20 years ago and said, can you put this information together?
no,
Yeah.
no, but now you have it.
No, yeah, it's because we've proven ourselves in one area that they trust that we can do what they need.
Yeah. But you're also having to continuously evolve, right? Like it used to be, you could kind of figure out your thing and then you just, it's just like making license plates. You just produce that license plate over and over again. The factory spits out license plates and the world's not like that anymore,
No.
right? Now it's like,
No.
I have a custom request for you. Can you do this? Yes, but it'll cost this much. But you got to figure that out, what you're going to charge for it, if you can do it. What portion of it you can do and what portion would be premium. You have to figure that out now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is a challenge. That can be a challenge. But again, having good people to go to, a good research team, head
Mm-hmm.
of research, who I can say, this is what they're looking for. He'll come back to me with some questions, go back to them. Okay, do you need this, this, and this? And then we'll give them, okay, we believe we can deliver this, and this would be the price. And, we should be able to produce it for you within this amount of time.
Yeah. Yep.
But it is, because it's not just the same thing that you were doing yesterday. It's something completely new. So knowing, again, where to start. Where do you start
Yep.
to find the biggest interior designers in the country, the biggest interior design firms,
Yeah. Is that a project you're working on?
It's one that we did for someone.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
That was a custom research project we did for someone. Yes.
Cool. Okay, so you're even getting, that because that is adjacent to the home building.
It's
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, this was from one of our home builder directory subscribers they
Yeah.
needed. And from there they wanted, after the biggest in the country, they wanted interior designers in Tampa, Florida, and then they wanted them in Houston, Texas,
Yeah.
separate lists.
Yeah.
Size didn't matter, just
Yeah.
because of what their product and what they do. So,
Yeah. Just give it. Yeah. Just that's so cool. And so you're at the table, and now you can take requests like that, and you can fulfill requests like that. And so that's your evolution, as a company.
right. Yeah, no, definitely. We had to look beyond just who's looking for home builders or, it is those, like you said, they're adjacent,
Yep.
but they're right in there with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so who knows, maybe someday you have an interior designer directory that you produce at some point. If enough people wanted it, right? Then you now know how to be at the center of that niche if you needed to
Right.
be. Yeah.
Right.
And that's how these things evolve.
Exactly.
So last question for you: a dream or a goal that you have, or a door. What are you heading towards? Where are you going, as a leader, as an organization? I always ask this question just in case there's somebody out that's in my listening and viewing audience that can open a door for you. I can't open a door for you if I don't know where you're going. So where are you going?
I really the research side of things, the custom research. Um, as I said, it's been the growing portion of our business. That and the special reports that we've been able to produce, one on active adult communities. We're finishing up one now on build to rent communities. They are new, they're novel, they're more interesting. They broaden your horizon beyond, doing, yeah, I mean, our bread and butter, home builders and apartment guys, they keep us grounded. They keep us in that, in the industry, which these others are parts of those industry. But the determining other products that will, like you say, maybe there would be a directory of interior designers that we can put our arms around, and how to put our arms around that. We tried one for architects and engineers due to requests from subscribers. We did that. It was good for a while, but it faded. So
Yeah.
trying to find the next national builders or the multifamily, which have, they have legs, they have staying power.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's where I would like to go to, find, and we don't need 100, another one, another two, to go from there. Identifying that market that is going to carry, that can withstand, that's just
Yeah.
withstand, more than just, a special report, more than a one-time list for someone or a research project for someone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's looking for ways to add value to niche communities through data is what it's basically what you're doing, but in your niche and adjacent niches,
Huh?
right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Somebody wouldn't come to you and say, I want the top auto dealers in Detroit, right? I'm assuming. I'm wondering like how you've determined your playground that you're playing in, or your sandbox that you're playing in.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Probably not auto dealers, but you never know because, we're actually working right now with a marketing company. Actually, I don't know that I'd say it's a marketing company. And this is someone I met at a wedding. My husband and I were at our niece's wedding and talking to him, and he does marketing for plumbers, right? And he's looking to expand his business.
yeah.
And as we
Yeah.
talked, it's like, well, plumbing and those folks, they do tie into
Yeah.
home building, right? There's plumbing in there. So we're actually talking now, and going to be doing some, uh, see if we can't work together in some way, because he's trying to expand
Yeah.
his business.
Yep.
And we saw a niche there that, something may come of that with him. So, not auto dealers, but plumbers. And I never would have thought,
You never
never really
thought.
would have thought it's plumbers as a niche,
Yeah.
but when you really get down to it, sure.
That's the entrepreneurial mindset, is that you know, you're looking for opportunities. You're not closed. You're not going into the world closed, but you at a
Hmm.
wedding, you have a conversation at a wedding, at your niece's wedding, and all of a sudden there's a new product idea that's floating around and an alliance that can happen. That's part of what makes it fun, right? That's part of what makes the job fun.
It is, and it's the human contact, the people contact that, yeah, that you're keeping, and it's definitely what makes it fun, because then you start looking at, when we have this, this, and this already. That's, we some of what we would need. You find new ways to use the information you have.
Yeah. 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 So this was actually a great um, session, class, course on how to think like a data publisher. right? How does a data publisher think? How does a niche B2B data publisher think? How does someone think that is supported by, and their entire organization, all of their revenue comes from actual data transactions. Someone's buying data from you on a subscription, on an ongoing subscription basis. That's how you make your money, and this is how you think. And I think it's valuable because I think many of my other publishers who are not traditional B2B, but are in different forms, they all have some form of data. They all have some form and some form of entrepreneurship that can go with that data. Things that could exist that don't exist yet. And so I like how you're helping us see how a person would think to maximize that asset that they have.
Well,
So, yeah.
It's been great. Happy to contribute whatever I can. And, I've watched a lot of your one-on-ones, and you've had some high-powered big hitters. I'm the small fish in the pond. I'm the even the guppy or the bait. So you might say, but it's been great.
I'll say small but mighty. I would say small but mighty.
Okay, we'll take that.
And I'll say riches in the niches, right? Like what you're teaching is go own your niche. That's what you're teaching, right? And I think more and more, that's the lesson. Is that go a level deeper, go a level smaller. Like make that niche yours. Go to the place where nobody has that particular demographic, and own it. And that's what you did.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate having you, Colleen.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you.
And then everybody who's been with us up to the end, thank you for joining us for another People of Media, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.